becoming the greatest lover she has ever known is what we're talking about today. You might call this being a magnificent lover or a legendary lover, the man that she writes in her diary about, the man that she meets one time and remembers for the rest of her life, no matter who she ends up with. Are you that man or woman? So this is a big question, because what do most people think about if we think in terms of dating and relationships? How do I set up my Tinder profile? How do I go on more dates? How do I maybe, take a girl home and maybe have sex? These are small questions that are very relevant and true and baby steps for sure. But that's not the nature of this talk. This talk is about if you align your reality, or if you start thinking about ways that you can become really this man that she fantasizes about, that your reality will start to turn into that. So how do we start to approach this very grand, very epic concept, but it can be kind of inaccessible, right? It starts with your interactions for sure, and the way that you set up your life. The very basic question is, are you in scarcity or in abundance with women and with feminine energy in your life? The same as with money. If you make decisions based around scarcity, you will never have the dream dating life that you want. So the bigger questions are, how do you set up your life in a way where there's always beautiful, radiant, feminine women, inspiring goddesses that want to be around you, not because you have tons of fucking money, not because you're super famous or rich or because of your status, but just because of who you are. What are the qualities of that man that is universally, not every woman's going to like you for sure, but the right ones that would like you will do so? Number one of these qualities, and we were exploring this yesterday, is a complete curiosity about every woman that you meet. Who is she as a person beyond just interview questions? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do for work? These things that we almost ask each other on autopilot. The compliments that we give to women in bars. Oh, you're so beautiful. Please like me. This sort of energy. What if your compliments came from a place of a true, genuine appreciation for who this person was? What a fucking incredible woman you are. You're not forcing yourself upon anyone, and if it's not for her, you are respectful and have a great day. The way that you showed up as a man, if we extrapolate after 10,000 or so of these interactions showing up in this way, which doesn't need any games or any manipulations, because you're just being who you are, connecting at a very human level with a person. Now, there's different levels to this, right? Because we started this talk talking about this very grandeur, mythic, legendary level of love. If you think of the great mythic love stories, think of Helen and Paris of Troy. Paris abducted Helen from the king of Sparta. No. He abducted Helen and they started a fucking war because she was so beautiful to him that it was worth, she's referred to as the woman that launched 1,000 ships. Imagine being a woman and being so beautiful and so inspiring that thousands of men would kill and die for your beauty. Imagine having a love story of that epicness in each of your lives. Is it possible? Why not? Is it likely if you don't focus on it every single day? Probably not. So what are some other legendary love stories, and how can you walk this path to create them? So what is this idea of becoming the man that she never forgets? How can you make her feel so alive, so desired, so seen, like no man has ever seen her before? Well, naturally, you would need to have a deep understanding of the feminine, of women. You need to spend a lot of time around women. You really have to have a deep appreciation and love to be around women. The idea is that the greatest lovers in history, they didn't have fancy pickup lines and things that they told women the same thing to 1,000 women, and it worked on every single one of them. One magic technique that gets a woman into your bed in 3 easy moves. They actually were so seduced by the women that they met. And the greatest power was that they would just express to these women, wow. The idea is that it's a seducer that is seduced because he doesn't actually do anything. Because the woman is so powerful that he lets her know that she has this effect on him, which is what seduces the woman, to know that she is irresistibly beautiful to you as a man. So one of the most famous examples is between Casanova, who we all know, and a legendary Parisian actress named Valville. Now, Valville was on this theater performance. She just performed, and after she finished performing, there was a whole group of men that were rich, tall, good-looking, handsome, famous, with status, and they surrounded her, jostling with each other, trying to get her attention. This woman, and she's used to this. Women of that physical beauty are used to being only seen for their physical beauty. And it's a sad reality. And Casanova, the sly devil, gave a note to a servant that said, "I should like to begin a secret intrigue with you, madam." Put it in the servant's hand. He's way far away from the main stage where all the guys are trying to get this woman's attention. Servant discreetly walks over, hands her the note, walks away. And who do you think this actress, at the peak of feminine beauty in the world at that time, in the 18th century, was interested in? Not any of the guys trying to show off their muscles and I'm so rich and I'm so handsome and you should go with me. But this man that was such an excellent appreciator of beauty, of being a secret, respectful leader. Because what the concept behind this is that she knew from his invitation that, one, he's a real fucking man, and he showed up and he would like to secretly lead her into a beautiful relationship. Her reputation is not destroyed. She's not seen and she's not judged by people because she knows that this kind of man has complete discretion. He will never kiss and tell. What happens between them will always stay between them. And if a woman truly knows that you are completely discreet, she will do all sorts of things that you could not even imagine. Versus if she understands that, oh, well, this guy, he seems like the kind to go and tell his friends if I do something with him. So most men will actually never even know what is possible, even with the woman that they are dating or married to, because they're not on the lover frequency. And the sad truth is that for many men, their relationship is just, okay, I got my job, it's a good paying job, let me get my girlfriend, check, on to the next thing, back to sports, back to this, this, and this. And not to say that everyone needs to walk this path of being a great lover, except the fact is, if you do not focus on your woman and treat her like a treasure, like a gift to your life, not a given that is taken for granted, and to not let your relationship regress into the mundane trivialities of everyday life. You left the toilet seat up. Why didn't you do the dishes yesterday? Something that's so beautiful and life-giving can be just turned into a situation where two people feel taken for granted. And that's not the kind of immortal, eternal relationships that people write about for thousands of years. And so even if it's not possible, because these are legendary stories that are myths, that are inspirational, I think to even be aware of them and to think on that wavelength will make you look for ways to create these kinds of relationships in your own lives. So the next time we're in the bar, when we go to the festival, when we explore new places, you might just think, wow, this might be, you see someone that's an attractive stranger, but you don't know anything about them. Maybe this is the person that could be in my life for the rest of my life, and this is the beginning of a legendary love story, and neither of us knows it yet. And you know what? I'll be the man and go up and let them know that they're fucking incredible. And if it doesn't land, it's not your person, it's not your girl. You just basically, as we talked about in the previous talk, skipped all of the getting to know you by elevating them to a position of, this is exactly how I see you, and if this is not how you see us, and if you're not as excited to be here as I am, then it's okay. I wish you the best, and they will find their person, and you will find your person, and you have to believe that if you keep going on this path, and you keep showing up in the way that you want to call forth the beautiful relationship that you want from your life, that the right person or people will show up. But beneath this is the idea that, do you want to live a epic life? Not everyone has to. Do you want to create these moments that make life worth living? You guys all have moments where it feels like a couple days, feels like years, because of how intensely you are living. There's a quote from Trotsky. It was saying that there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. And if we take that and we apply that to personal relationships, what if your whole entire relationship, no matter how long it lasts, it's a perfect relationship? Because everyone there feels completely celebrated, completely appreciated, like they are caught up in something, in a romance or in an intrigue or in a conspiracy that is so fundamentally different than from the everyday grayscale, black and white, going through life on autopilot that so many of us fall into. Your immortal love story might just be waiting in the bar tonight. You never know. But the question is, what is your role to play in this experience? Are you the hero in the story, or are you just a bystander in your own life? Are you letting life happen to you, or are you taking it by the balls and creating and blazing your own path in this life, operating on nothing more than pure faith? You can't see around the corner. None of us know if the things that we're doing right now are going to work out, but we have nothing but hope and faith in ourselves that if we just trust in ourselves and relax into the arms of life, that the right people will come at the right time that will enable you to become the person that you are going to become. The idea is to step into the unknown, not knowing the outcome. And this is not just about relationships, but we're taking it and applying it to relationships here. And there's a Chinese wisdom of basically nothing is inherently good or bad. So there's an old Chinese parable, and it goes something like this. One day, there is an old Chinese farmer and his son. Now, they're living their life on a farm, and one of their horses runs away. And the neighbors all come and say, "Oh, that's such a terrible misfortune. Oh, that sucks." And the farmer, the wise farmer, says, "Not necessarily. We don't know." After a couple weeks, the horse comes back with a big flock of other horses. And the farmer and the neighbors all come and say, "This is great fucking news." And to which the farmer says, "No, not necessarily. We don't know." The next day, his son gets on one of the stray horses that came, and he gets bucked off and breaks his arm and his leg. And the neighbors all come and they say, "Oh, what terrible misfortune. How bad this is." And the farmer says, "Not necessarily." And then the next day, the conscription officer from the army comes to their place, and because the farmer's son has a broken arm and a leg, he's not drafted to go to the army. And the neighbors all come and they say, "Oh, how terrible." And you understand. So nothing is inherently good or bad. And I think sometimes it's important for us to take a step back and gain the perspective of Steve Jobs said that nothing makes sense going forward and everything can only make sense going backwards. You will all make sense when you look backwards. And the idea is, if you just take the time to slow down and have gratitude for the people that you are with, and you will see how they shaped the decisions that made your life into what it is. And that if every day is filled with beautiful memories and beautiful moments, those turn into beautiful days. And if every day is beautiful, it's beautiful weeks, months, years, decades, and your entire life is a beautiful life. Because you filled it with doing the things you love, with the people that you love. And the metaphor is, if you had infinite money right now, would you be doing anything differently than what you're doing right now? I wouldn't, being here with you guys. You wouldn't?
I already have infinite money.
I'm honored. You wouldn't change anything, right? So it makes you think, because we don't have infinite time, and between having a regular life and an epic life, none of these legendary figures and great heroes that we know about were any different or doing anything different than what we're doing right now. They were just so sure of themselves as they moved forward through their life and their times and their situation and their circumstance. And then in reverse, someone said, "Wow," and wrote about the everyday experiences, the immortal moments, the immortal memories. And so I think to conclude with, what if every day was filled with, surrounded by the people that you love, and the things that you love to do, and you took the risk of talking to the most attractive stranger that you ever saw in the street, in the coffee shop, in the bar, in the club, in Left Bank, in Basiani. Because if you don't go and talk to this person, that could have been the greatest love story of your life. And you just let it slip away from listening to fear disguised as reason. And to view things from that perspective. Even having this talk here, I'm looking at each of you like, hey, maybe this is the last time we will ever see each other. We don't know. And when you look at things from that perspective, with your friendships, with your relationships, with your potential love stories, you really tend to appreciate them more. And it's hard to be always conscious and enlightened, but to stay in touch with that and to not lose that, and to look at these people, and we're all transient here. Everything is ephemeral. Nothing is lasting. Maybe that is the secret to having a beautiful life. You're next.